Okay, this is 1.6, some of the problem set problems. And let's go ahead and start with something like number 20. We have 4 plus the quantity 1 plus y. And again, we've got our parentheses. We do what's in there first, but since we cannot add or subtract letters and numbers, we can't do anything there. So what we can do is combine the 4 plus the 1, but we can't do anything with the 4 and the y because it's an addition sign. If it were a multiplication, we could just stick them together, but because it's an addition sign, we can't do that, so we're left with 5 plus y for our answer. When we have things where we're using the distributive property, like number 43, we have 5 times 7 minus 4y. Alright, distributive property says that we take the number outside the parenthesis and multiply it by each separate individual term within the parenthesis. And I use the word term a couple times. A term is a group of letters or numbers separated by a plus or minus sign. So that's what I've got there. Is a 7 is a term, it's separated by a minus sign, and then a 4y is a term. So I'm going to multiply the 5 times 7. And I'm going to multiply the 5 times the 4y. And I'm going to put my negative there, because 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, and we tag our y on there since the 5 and the y cannot be combined there. Okay, so let's look at some from 45 to 56, because this is going to be just a tad bit different. Let's look at 45. 3x plus 5x. Okay, so remember when I said when we have letters and numbers, we can't add or subtract them unless the letters are the exact same. In this case, we have an 3x and a 5x. They're both x's. So it's kind of like saying we have 3 quarters plus 5 quarters equals how many quarters? 8 quarters, or in this case, 8 x's. If we had something like negative 3x plus 9x, forget the x there, we have two numbers, and the letters are the same, they're x's, so we can combine those. And you just kind of ignore that there's x's there, and you just do what you'd normally do with the numbers. A negative 3 and a 9, the signs are different, so you take the difference between the two, between a 3 and a 9, and it's 6, and you put the sign of the largest number on there, and the largest number is a 9, so it's going to be positive, and then you just tag an x on there. So it's just like saying I'm in the whole 3 quarters, somebody gives me 9, once I pay off my debt, how many do I have? I have 6. If I had something like 6y minus y. Okay, how many y's do I have right here? I have 1. They don't put it on there, it's an assumed 1. If they don't put a 1 on there, you look at it and it's like, yes, there's 1 y on there. So you don't have to write that, but if it helps, now we have 6 y's minus 1 y's gives us 5 y's. So it's just like 6 quarters minus 1 quarter is 5 quarters. If I have, and I don't think they give you any of these in this homework assignment, but let me put it on here. If I have something like 6 y's minus 2 x's, I have different letters. I cannot combine those. That means I can't do anything with that. So if they gave that to you, that in itself would be as simplified as you can go. Now let me explain to you just real quickly the difference between simplify and solve, because they'll ask you to do both of those in the lessons for this semester. They'll ask you to solve an equation, and they'll ask you to simplify an equation. The only time you ever solve an equation is if the equation, or solve something, is when that something has an equal sign, and therefore it becomes what is called an equation. So you solve things with equal signs, you simplify things with no equal signs. So 3x minus 2x equals 1x. We simplified that. We didn't solve it. Solving it means we find out the value of our unknown. Now, if I said we have 3x minus 2 equals 4, our problem that we're given has an equal sign in it. Therefore, we're going to solve it. We're going to find out what the x equals. Whereas when we simplify it, we're not finding out what the x equals. We're just making the expression that can be kind of complicated simpler, a lot easier to look at instead of this big mess of numbers and letters. You simplify it, making it just easier to see. I mean, there's just less of it. So just something there for you to ponder a little bit. And that is 1.6.